the next segment here of World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley, it's the 18th of July. And now a couple of these more technical points. Once again, total rundown, Webster G. Tarpley Twitter feed. And that's where you should be looking as the crisis unfolds, right? And follow that. Get it sent to you automatically. Now, two sides to this question. Who did it, right? The investigation, right? The Count Berchtold Sarajevo phase. On the one hand, the warmongers claim now that they have tapes of Russian irregular forces, right? Russian rebels, pro-Russian defense forces, pro-federalization, anti-Kiev, anti-fascist, whatever you want to call them, talking to Russian controllers about what happened. And it's interesting, the best they can do is to present this as a mistake. Now, the mistake part, let's just sidebar this. On the one hand, the Kiev fascist regime declared a no-fly zone on July 8th. No airplanes should have been there. And then we're even told, everybody knows that the rebels had captured high-powered, heavy-duty, high-altitude surface-to-air missiles. They say the Buk, that is the Grumble, or S-300, I think is what they have in mind. The problem is, once you knew that, dear directors of human destiny, why didn't you reroute all aircraft out of Ukraine? Right? Wouldn't that have been a good idea? Then no mistake could have occurred. But the real argument, of course, is much stronger. It's not just a mistake. I recommend that you go to antiwar.com, and this is now the blog of Justin Raimondo, a well-known quasi-mainstream libertarian figure, and his article posted July 18th, audio proof in quotes, audio proof of Ukrainian rebel responsibility for Malaysian flight downing is fake. Fake. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, fake. And the principal argument here, this is not a text. It is a video. You can get to this directly through my Twitter feed, right? Go to Webster G. Tarpley. I put this out on the Twitter earlier this afternoon, right before the show started, or in the throes of beginning it. It's all up there. Justin Raimondo of Anti-War argues that alleged rebel tapes proving guilt for MH17 shoot-down were posted before the incident. Fake. And then the link. So just click on that. And the argument is that the tape was posted before the incident occurred. The tape, it's just like Ghouta, it's just like Syria, where the videos, some of them were posted before the incident was alleged to have occurred. So they had everything going. They were so assiduous, they outsmarted themselves. They were too clever by half. They put it up there, and he's got a date. Now, according to the person making this tape, but we can assume that antiwar.com stands behind it, right? And this is not some fly-by-night crackpot thing. It has a certain institutional force. The person making the tape says this has now been taken down. In other words, the Kiev fascists or their supporters see now that they got ahead of themselves. According to what I can see, and that this is just a quick look that I gave it this morning, it looks like the tape was published the night before. And then they'll say, well, that's California time. Fine. It's still published, posted many, many hours before the incident was supposed to have taken place. The incident is generally assigned to approximately midday, thereabouts, right? Midday European time. Actually, it's maybe more like 3 or 4 o'clock European time on Thursday. And this is looks like it's 7 o'clock the night before. I don't care what time that is. 7 o'clock the night before will not do it. It was posted in advance. So it's a fraud. Okay, so shoot that down. And, of course, Kerry and Samantha, her loopiness, and others will be going wild over this tape, Of course, they've been burned by tapes, right? Victoria Nuland, I'm sure, will be out there arguing for the tape. Now, on the other side of the ledger, we have the case of a Spanish air traffic controller at the Borispol airport in Kiev. And this you can also get through a Webster G. Tarpley Twitter feed. It's all there. It's encyclopedic. It's comprehensive. Here we have the story coming from the control tower of Kiev Airport. The guy's putting out tweets talking about how the Ukrainian military took control of the air traffic control facility in Kiev at 10:25 in the morning. The Malaysian plane disappears from the radar, and then at 10:30 in the morning, avión derivado no accidente. Plane shot down, no accident, and goes through this. And he sent this out as Twitter's. Now, this person exists, and you can see this also through my Twitter account. You can find that he was interviewed by RT. This is somebody known as Carlos, a real person who was interviewed in May talking to RT Spanish language service concerning the general political climate of Ukraine, where he says his view is it's impossible for East and West Ukraine to coexist in the same country because, as he says, el odio, the hatred is so strong between these regions. And, of course, the Kiev fascist regime is all Lvov, Lviv, Lemberg, Leopold. So that, I think, is this is the evidence that makes sense. And here's a real person standing behind it, not a tape, but somebody who could be interviewed. Now, of course, there's an interesting dualism right there. So we have to have an investigation which is considered credible by the world, and, of course, that means London and Washington. Well, dear people, 9/11 did not come and go completely in vain. People are now very skeptical about the Anglo-Americans. Now, let's just try to tick off some other interesting topics. Now, we've heard that Yellen is a fool, right? Yellen says she's using all of her tools. She's not using them. She's Bernanke in a camouflage suit. The interesting thing here is that the Federal Reserve is now reducing the quantitative easing 3 purchases of rotten derivatives, and they're going to reach 0 purchases, 0 support operations for derivatives in the month of October, just in time for the classic season of stock market panics and related stuff. So, Tarpley for Fed head, Tarpley for Fed head, Tarpley for Fed head. Now, the other one is the Export-Import Bank. We're going to have to increase the satire. It's not enough to show these characters like Jeb Henserling in their Mao suits and Mao hats. We've also got to portray them in French berets with striped shirts and Gauloise cigarettes hanging from lower lip, and also Tyrolean hats and lederhosen, because the entire panoply of foreign interests are represented. Case in point, the Mercatus Center at George Mason University, money from Koch Brothers funding, on the reactionary pedant radio program this past week of John Batchelor. This is now Véronique de Rugy, D-E-R-U-G-Y, Véronique de Rugy. And Véronique de Rugy comes on the radio and says, "Oh, my dear American friends, the Exim Bank, she is against the free marché. You should not do this. We would never do this." Yeah, you have COFAS credits, credit guarantees. Germany has Hermes credit, and it's time to pass the legislation for the Export-Import Bank. Boeing is now appealing to Congresswoman Kathy